You're live, go.
Okay, awesome. Hi, everyone. Welcome back. We are on our 5th class. Hopefully everyone did their homework. And just as a reminder, our homework from last time was to observe 2 to 3 presentations and take notes. Schedule 2 or 3 presentations. So that could be a class or a one-on-one. And record yourself practicing and presenting. Record yourself practicing, presenting, and then review that. So who can share how it went with the homework? Keeping each other accountable. Who's done the homework? Who has recorded themselves and noticed that they were doing something and they've chosen to change it? Or had a live presentation since our last conversation?
It looks like Mo is raising her hand. Let me unmute her. Okay. Go ahead, Mo, you're unmuted.
So you guys can see me?
We can't see you, but we can hear you.
Oh, okay, good.
Let me see if it'll let you start your video.
So I heard all the videos, I think 4 or 5 YouTube videos. I watched a few, but I did not get a chance to take notes. I just heard, while I'm working, I'm hearing. But I did have a lot of presentations, mostly one-on-one today morning, 4 people and me. So I'm talking a lot, if that's considered as a presentation, talking about my oils. Because I already love to talk about my oils. Yes, notes here and there, I've taken a few, but not videos.
I have to stop you.
Yes.
Don't be modest. Why don't you share so we can all celebrate how many people you've enrolled this month?
How many? 5? I think 6, right? 6, Mayra?
Dang, girl, good job.
You did your homework and then some. I need to go get my pom-pom.
Thank you, all of you.
You've done fantastic. Anyone else wants to share how they've done so far with their homework? All right, well, while someone's thinking, Mo, can you do us a favor? Because I really do think that it's been amazing what you've done in the past week and a half. Do you mind sharing with us how you have managed to connect with so many people? So you had a class, it was, we didn't have enough chairs because so many people showed up. How did you get so many butts and seats? What did you do?
Because some meaningful connections, and I truly believe in what doTERRA is trying to achieve here, which is in complete line with whatever I've always tried to do. And I can do this much effectively, much quickly. So I believe in it so firmly that I don't care for negative responses. I am like looking at people as prospects. Every person, all strangers, I look at them as prospects. So looking at them, if they are busy or if they are rushing, then of course I don't approach them. But anybody I meet, I say, hello, how are you doing? If they're having issues with their kids, I try to help. I tried to help earlier too, but now I have an added motivation. So it's like, okay, in future, maybe I'll need to contact this person, always at the back of my mind. So it's like, hi, hello. Everything starts with hi, hello, how are you doing? How can I help? This is the baseline, and people just immediately respond. Another thing is making eye contact and really trying intuitively to know what might be some of the issues that person might be having.
I love that. That was super helpful. So we had a small group meeting today here in Houston. And Jennifer, do you want to share? Do you remember what we said about the number one thing we saw when people were high enrollers? And Mo wasn't able to attend the meeting. Do you remember what we pointed out was the common thread for high enrollers?
It's all about wanting to help people.
So helping people believe it, but even before that, it was the belief.
But having your story, yeah,
it was the belief, right?
Having that deep belief that and knowing that it works, not just believing that it works, but really just knowing it.
And so those are the first words that came out of her mouth, Mo, and then that was super interesting to me because we just had that meeting, and the people that I consistently see as high enrollers on my team, doTERRA has changed our lives, right? And so no matter who we come in touch with, that belief, it's unshakable. No one can tell me that this didn't help me heal my thyroid, right? No one can tell my friend Letty that it didn't help her heal her vocal cords. No one can tell my friend that it didn't change her life and she's not in the hospital once a month with her 2-year-old, right? And so I think that belief is so important. And so that goes back to being a product of the product, right? The more you use the oils, the more you believe in them, and the more you learn about the company, the more you'll believe in the company, and the more you spend time with people from your team, the more you'll believe in this, mission, and this collective mission. So I love that. And the second thing that you said that I love is that we have to connect with people. People have to know that you care about them. You look at them in the eye, you listen to them. You don't just run at them and say, I've got something to sell you, right? And so that's what I've seen in you. And that's what I've seen in other top enrollers on the team. And so congratulations. And thank you so much for sharing. I'm so excited for you. Nicole, do you mind letting me share my screen? Because I think I'm not enabled right now.
You should be able to share it. Does it not give you the option?
It says host disabled participant screen sharing. I'm not sure.
Hold on.
Okay.
Here we go. Who can we share? All participants. Okay.
Okay, awesome. All right, so today we are going to talk about inviting people to build. We're jumping around a little bit. I'm just to give you a quick refresher on how easy it is for us now that we have this amazing system of duplication with these awesome guides that we can basically just read through if we wanted to. Last week we talked about teaching and enrolling from the Natural Solutions handout. Next week, I'm going to go over how to give someone that we've enrolled a wellness consultation or a lifestyle overview based on the Live Guide. So we'll go over that next week. Don't worry about it. We will cover it. Today, we're going to talk about the Build Guide, but we also have an amazing launch guide. So once the person's decided to build, depending on what they want to do, if they're a sharer or they don't want to do this, to replace their income, then they can use a share guide to host. Or if they decide that they're like, yeah, I'm all in, I want to do this to replace my income or to make significant amount of income, then they're going to go through the launch guide. So those are the two options that you have after you figured out the build guide. And then of course, this is really great for giving out samples. It's those little healthy can be simple guides that you can include with a little sample that you get. And so one of the things that I wanted to share with you before we jump into the build guide today is something that actually Jennifer brought to my attention yesterday. And some of you have already taken the Emerge training, so you may be familiar with this. But the 4 different kinds of decision makers, I'm not going to go into it in depth, but basically people approach life in different ways. Some people are like, let's go, right? They're the shotgun people. Whatever sounds good, they jump in. They jump before they think, right? And then you have those people that are more systematic. They need to know something like this. They need to go the entire cycle, beginning to end. What are the steps? What's the end goal? And then there's other people who they need proof, right? So for example, for me, I needed to see the oils work on me, work on my husband, work on my kids, and then I went shotgun, right? So they need to collect facts and data. And then there's other people who maybe like many of you or many people that you've had working with you, they need quite a bit of time, sometimes even years of using the oils and not only seeing that it works on them, going to convention a couple of times, seeing that it works on other people before they even decide to build. And so the reason that I wanted to share this slide first is because it's important for you to realize just because you may fall into that last category, which is I needed all of this time before I even decided to host a class, don't limit yourself by assuming that everyone else, they're going to have a 3-year incubation period or even a 3-month incubation period. Just today in our team meeting, we have 3 new builders that have been on my team for a month or less, and they're ready to go, right? And so we need to be open to the possibilities and be open to some people will be ready to just the business opportunity in and of itself is going to be so exciting for them or the mission that they're going to want to get going. So I want to make sure that I shared that with you so that you are that you're open to those possibilities. And so whether we're starting as a customer or right away as a builder, the building pathway begins here with the build guide. I'm going to share my screen this way. Oh, why did it do that to me again? I don't know why it did that like last time, but this time I'm going to figure out how to make it big for you.
Myra, when you're clicking on it, you got to click share from present slide.
Oh, okay, good. Okay, now we're together. Okay, find and launch new business builders, how to recruit with and onboard with the build guide. All right, so this is where people are committing to build. The other thing that I wanted to just share with you before we even get started here is, where do we find these builders? Can someone share with me where do you think you find builders? Where's the best way to look for builders? The best place?
Right in front of you.
Current users?
Yes. The most obvious place to start is people that already believe in the product, right? So what we just said is that the best enrollers are people that already have that belief. So the best place to start is who's already using oils. Now, who's already using oils can be who's already using oils on your team, or it could be who's already using oils. It might be using a different kind of oils. One of our new builders on the call today is using oils for 20 years. And then when doTERRA came into her life, she's like, I finally found something that I'm so excited about that I can actually share with people. So there might be oil users that have been using oils in a different capacity or a different type of oil, okay? So we always need to be open to that. The other thing that I wanted to share with you is that this is really a numbers game. So the more people that you talk about the oils, the more people that you're going to end up on your team, the more people that you talk about the business opportunity, the more builders that you're going to get. I really liked this example that Alicia Debbie gave at a diamond training not too long ago. She basically said, if you came to my house and I offered you vanilla or chocolate ice cream, and I gave you that choice, and then I go to my freezer and I come out with Rocky Road, and I ask you, why didn't you choose Rocky Road? What are you going to tell me, right? You didn't choose Rocky Road because I didn't offer you Rocky Road. I only offered you vanilla or chocolate. And so make sure when you're talking to people that you always let them know that that business opportunity, that chance to make a difference in other people's lives is there, right? It doesn't stop with the oil. They have the chance to do this as a business with you. All right, so I'm going to give you some ideas of just as we're going through, so you have this in the back of your mind, because people might come into your mind as we're going through this presentation. Who do you know who is relationship oriented or influential, right? So people who are already leaders in their communities. Maybe it's the head of a PTA. Maybe they're the head of some volunteer organization. Maybe they're really active in their church or some other community group. So who do you know who already, when they say something, people listen and people follow. Who's already into living a healthy, natural, active lifestyle? Who's already walking the talk? Who is goal-oriented, self-motivated, ambitious, right? So the great thing about this job is that you're your own boss. You make your own schedule. You decide when you work, who you work with, all these great things, when you take vacation, when you don't. The hard thing about this job is that you're your own boss, right? So it's kind of like being a writer. How awesome that you can just write whatever you want, but working from home, as you know, can be really hard if you're not disciplined. So who do you know who's already has that discipline, that inner ambition and motivation? Who do you know who's positive, passionate, and inspiring, right? So I'm sure that all of you know someone that you're like, oh, I'm gonna have to see this person today. I have to go to lunch with them. I really, and it's just like they drain you and you just don't want to be around them. And then we all know those people that are like Nicole, she's vibrant, right? You're like, oh, I want to hang out with you. You're so much fun, right? And so who do you know that's like that just is like, oh, they're so much fun. They're so cool. I love hanging out with them. Those, people that are charismatic, people that are magnetic. Who do you know that's entrepreneurial or has experience in sales? Who is not scared of making money? Who's not scared? Who doesn't think that money is a bad thing? Who recognizes that money is just an energy exchange, just like anything else, right? Who's open to receiving? Who's in a phase in their life that supports building a business, right? Who's been kind of on the sidelines for a while and is ready to jump in. Their kids are growing up. Who's been doing a certain business and you know that they're not happy at it, but you know that they've got the capability of doing something else that's great. And who's looking for improved finances or a better future. So these are all really great potential people for you to reach out to. Now, the other important thing here for you to realize is that everyone's going to have a different goal or a different need. So just like when we were presenting the oils, we were presenting the oils in a way that was addressing their specific oil needs. When you're presenting the business opportunity, you need to present it in a way that is addressing their specific needs, whether it's their financial need or their need to make a difference or their need to help, right? But we need to listen. So we need to spend the time, just like with the oil presentation, listening to what they want, what's missing in their lives, and then showing them how doTERRA can connect, connecting those dots to how doTERRA can meet that need. That's what we're doing in this presentation. Just like when we're selling oils here, we're selling the business. All right. So what doTERRA's mission is bringing hope, healing hearts, raising leaders, and living dreams. The other thing that I wanted to make sure that you keep in mind is you will have people that from the get-go are like, I want to do this business. Just because someone says they want to do the business doesn't mean that they belong on your front line, okay? How many people, I see Danny shaking his head. Danny, how many people have told you, yes, let's do it? And then they kind of
I've had 2, and they've had 0 activity in a year.
Right? So just one thing is what people say, another thing is what people do. My 2, Nicole's cracking up. My 2.
Don't ever put them on your front line.
They're like, yes, let's do it. Right? Unless it's someone that you really, really know very well and you've had background with them, don't do it. Okay? The two keys to knowing if someone's going to be a good builder: capable, committed. Are they capable or are they committed? How can you tell if someone is capable? Do you guys think Mo's capable? Right? She's enrolled, 5, 6 people in a week and a half by herself, right? Capable, someone who by themselves, without anyone showing up, they're like, go, 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 I'm on it, I'm doing it, right? Capable, someone who, without you telling them where to go on the doTERRA website, they go and they figure out, answer the questions themselves. Capable, someone who reaches out to you and asks you questions. Nicole, how many times did I reach out to you the first week? Did Nicole go away?
Like nonstop.
Poor Nicole.
But it was good. Like she constantly was having questions. Like if you've got someone that's super eager, and I'm not talking like that needy leech eager. I'm talking you can tell that they've gone on the website or they've been looking through their book and they've been testing stuff out with their oils. And Mayra contacted me a ton and she was super eager. I still did not put her on my front line. So
tell them where you put me.
I think I probably put you on my 6th or 7th level.
You put me on your 7th level.
Was it 7th? Okay, yeah.
It's like as far away as possible.
Well, but honestly, Mayra, she came over to my house and was so like, you're a weirdo lady, which granted I'm pretty weird, so I get it. But it was just like, I'm like, I don't know if this lady's ever going to do anything. And by that time I had been doing it for about 2 years and I had so many people tell me they want to do the business. And so at that time we had the Premier move because we didn't have the Wellness Advocate or wholesale customer option, which is awesome, by the way. And so I had too many people on my front line and too many qualifiers that aren't really qualifiers that I basically built legs underneath them. And anyway, ultimately trust your gut. Like my gut told me to keep Mayra on my front line, but my brain's like, don't do it, Nicole. But my gut knew. I still didn't do it, and I left her there. And then with Roxy, my gut told me to leave her on my front line, even though I didn't even talk about the business at our class, and I did it. And so she stayed on my front line, and she, Roxy's freaking amazing. And so that's 2 examples of following your gut and not following your gut. And thank God above that we had that Premier move, and I was able to move Mayra back to my front line. But seriously, ultimately follow your gut, but definitely the qualifiers are good indicators.
So my whole point with that was every person that I've had that really does great, they've shown me that they're capable because they're constantly asking questions, because someone who asks questions is engaged, right? So don't be afraid of asking questions. And if someone's asking you a lot of questions, and it has to be the right kind of questions, right? But if they're asking you questions that you can tell that it's clicking, those are probably people that you want to put on your front line. Those are builders that you want to invest the time in. The other thing is committed. So committed means that they do what they say they're going to do. Because there's a lot of times that people will be like, oh, well, I'll see you at such and such a time, or we'll have this phone call, and then they don't show up. Committed means they do their homework, right? Committed means they log on to the team calls. Committed means they complete the 3 steps in the build guide. That's going to be your homework for today. So that's what committed means. Just the other thing that I wanted to share with you about that is people can change, but the capable and committed rule really will serve you well. So the other thing that I wanted to share here about the build guide is that this is your opportunity to open up the door to be able to ask some questions that you normally wouldn't ask, right? Because it can be uncomfortable asking people about their income or their income goals. And so this is a very nice way of easing your way into helping to figure out what it is that their goals are without specifically talking about money if that's not something that they're comfortable with. So here are the things that we're going to address. We're going to talk about whether or not they're hauling buckets. We're going to talk about why it makes sense to partner with doTERRA. Really high level overview of the compensation plan, what it means for them to be living the dream, and how they can make a difference. So these are all the different ways that we're going to obviously hone in on what matters to them. And out of these, kind of like in the live guide, you hone in on what area of the lifestyle pyramid they're kind of struggling with. Here you're going to hone in on what area they're most interested in addressing. The business overview, it's not meant, if this is your first time talking to them about the business, you don't want to spend an hour on this, right? You don't want to spend an hour on the compensation plan because that could be overwhelming and it can seem really difficult. And so really the overall goal here is to figure out what their driver is, what their why is, as far as an income or as far as their mission. You want to start with making a connection. So you want to start with helping them understand why you decided to do the business, right? So it could be depending on the kind of person. One of the examples that I like to give is, well, first of all, I like to help people. So I started this because I had my healing experience and I wanted to share with others that they could also use natural medicine, preventative medicine to not get sick to begin with and have a healthy lifestyle. Some other times, depending on the person, what I might share is if it's someone that's more less of a circle and more of a square or triangle personality, if they're more direct, I'll share with them, well, why was this a good business opportunity for me? So if you think about the healthcare industry, you think about how many people now are either unhappy physically and or emotionally. The oils, our potential client is anybody, right? So if you compare this, for example, to selling makeup or selling jewelry, if you're talking to a stay-at-home mom, that might be her alternative. Then who is our potential client? Well, if you walk out the door, anyone with a heartbeat is our potential client, right? If you think about selling, for example, high-end jewelry, well, it's only women to begin with. So that's half the population is no longer a potential client. Women in a certain age range, women within a certain income range. And so it's more and more limited. Does that make sense? Versus if you're thinking about selling an oil, it can be a baby. It can be an elderly person. It can be someone who's super healthy. It can be someone who's super unhealthy. It can be anybody, right? Someone who is, it can be a physician. It can be a chiropractor. Anyone can use these oils. It can even be your pets. And so really anyone who cares about taking care of themselves can use these products. And so that's depending on who I'm talking to, I either go into the healing side of it or I talk about why this is just such a great business opportunity from that perspective that anyone's my potential client. You also want to go, just like in the natural solutions class, you want to state your intention. So you want to explain to them what the purpose of this is. You want to let them know from the beginning. I'm going to walk you through what doTERRA can be as far as a business opportunity. And then I want to see if this meets your needs or if this fits something that you're looking for. So my goal is to help us figure out if doTERRA can be what you're looking for in a business opportunity. And if so, to what degree you want to participate in this. And then you're going to go find out about their situation, right? That's obviously the most important. Figure out what it is that they want. Because if they're not interested, maybe they have, I've seen this happen, I'm sure you've seen this happen. There are people who really have money blocks, who truly feel like if I make an income, then maybe my husband will be upset because what if I make more money than him? Or if I make an income off of selling, you know, these healing products, am I taking advantage of people, right? A lot of times this happens with people that do yoga or do massages or do something else that's a service type of job. They feel like if I'm doing something kind for you, but you're paying me for it, does that take away from it being a kind thing? And so you want to learn about their situation. Maybe do they have debt they want to pay off? Do they need to pay for their kids' college, right? What is it that is driving them to even have this conversation with you? Then we're going to talk about why doTERRA makes sense, what it takes to do this, compensation plan, and so we'll go through this. But basically, if you want to take a picture of that sheet that goes over how you want to more or less divide your time, I really want to encourage you, even just today at our group meeting, we had the chance for everyone to talk about their story and what brought them into doTERRA and what their goals are. And I really want to encourage you to practice being able to say that in 2 minutes, right? So of course, our story, we love it. We want everyone to hear all of these great details, but you want to be able to say that super concisely in 1 or 2 minutes. What brought you to doTERRA? What was the reason that you're using the oils? And then what's the reason you're doing the business? The longer you talk, the less likely they are to want to join you. Does that make sense? I don't want to be mean, but it's super important that you can really concisely say this. And I've been guilty of this. When I first started doing this, I was so thrilled about my healing with my thyroid. I would talk for 15 minutes about it. And I eventually, someone that was, it hurt my feelings, but then I realized, oh my goodness, she's right. And so now I've made it more concise. So I encourage you to practice being super brief. All right, so we are going to talk about how, with a build guide, we're going to open the doors of opportunity. This is very cheesy. I did not do this presentation. It's a guided experience, okay? Sequence of decisions. Decision number 1 is going to be this. Do you want to keep hauling buckets or do you want to build a financial pipeline? And so I'm sure most of you heard this story, or do you want me to go through it? Most of you have heard it. So the summary here is, if you have a regular job, so for example, whether, like my dad, he's a doctor, but whether he was a doctor or a mechanic, if he doesn't go to work, he doesn't get paid. Simple as that, right? When he retires, he's no longer going to receive an income. For a lot of us, we've had jobs where we've had a boss that we may not have liked. And so maybe we did a fantastic job, but our bonus was limited, or we didn't receive that promotion that we thought we deserved, or for some other random thing that made no sense and it seemed unfair, we weren't able to really receive the reward for what we thought we had contributed, right? And so maybe we've had the situation where you have to be at work by a certain time, or you can't leave before this time, or, oh, you only have X amount of time of vacation, or X number of, only a month and a half that you can take for maternity leave, or whatever it is, we were in some way restricted, right? And so that means that we were hauling buckets. Someone else had some form of control over us. Whereas building a pipeline, you know, I love this. I'm about to take a 2-week vacation. Guess what, guys? You're not going to hear from me in 2 weeks. And guess what? I'm going to continue to get paid. And that is such a blessing, right? And all of you can have that. I love this. Building a pipeline means that you do the job, and it's kind of like owning a restaurant. It's owning an annuity. You're going to continue to get paid. There is a truly fantastic video that I'm going to take a little break here to show you. It's password protected, but this video is so wonderful. Nicole, you were there, right? So this was at our leadership training a couple of years ago. This is David Ellis. He used to be a financial planner after his wife started doing really great with doTERRA. He quit that job and now he does doTERRA full time with his wife. If you want to copy this URL, just take a picture, and then the password to get in is oils, lowercase oils, all right? I encourage you to watch that. Here he explains very simply the power of residual income, and he does it in a way that it's just gonna blow your mind. And so if your husbands aren't on board yet with the doTERRA opportunity, this is gonna get them there. It's really, really good. All right, so that is something that I encourage you to go out and watch. Now, let's go back to our presentation. All right. So hauling buckets or building a pipeline. So when you're building a pipeline, there's no limits on your income potential. You have the freedom, complete freedom to choose your schedule, and it truly is residual and lasting. So they're going to have to decide, do you want to keep doing what you're doing, or do you want to have greater freedom? Decision number 2, do you want to partner with doTERRA? And so partnering with doTERRA means several things. One of the things that I absolutely love is the fact that, going back to the residual income, we have a 65% retention rate. And that is absolutely crazy. So in the direct sales industry, just to give you an idea, the average is between 8% to 17%. So to have a 65% retention rate is absolutely unheard of. And so what that means is when people buy the product, they keep coming back every month. 65% of them, of every 100, 65 of your people, that means that you're not having to start from zero every month. That also means that you're going to have a lot of, remember we said, where do most of our builders come from? They come from our existing customers. So you're going to have a lot of potential builders that are also being kind of groomed. Out of all of the people doing doTERRA, 80% of them never once sold an oil. So these are true customers. And so what happens in a lot of other direct sales companies is they'll join, but they'll only join for the opportunity to make an income. And I've heard of people actually, let's say that it's a beauty product or whatever, they'll take the product and they'll just store it, or they throw it away. And they say it's not about the shake and it's not about the, the mask or whatever, it's about the income. And so they're not actually using the product. Now I guarantee you that every single one of you on this call, if doTERRA went away, the business opportunity went away, you would still continue ordering the product. Isn't that right? Because you love the oils. And so think about that. Like that is true residual income. These people are going to keep buying every single month. And that's why you can't take 2 weeks vacation and not worry about it, right? So that's really a fantastic thing to share to someone that you're sharing the business opportunity with. The other thing is that they're the most tested and the most trusted, which basically this means the oils work, they're effective. You're going to have the results every single time that you're looking for. The other thing that I like about this slide is their growth. It's just amazing that they're over $1 billion company in 10 years. We have over 6 million wellness advocates around the world, and we're going to keep growing. We're the #1 essential oils company in the world. And the cool thing about this, because I've had people ask, well, ooh, is that going to be too much? Like, am I too late? No, you're not too late to the game. This is the healthcare industry, right? It's $1 trillion industry. We're only getting started. We're truly only getting started. The other thing I love about our company is that we're debt-free, right? We're not publicly traded. The owners have complete control. And this is why I really encourage you to go to the events where you can meet them or hear them speak, because we are so blessed, and the people that are running this company, they truly are amazing individuals. So if you go to convention, if you have an opportunity to go to one of their regional trainings, you'll see what they're about. You'll hear it in their voice. You'll feel the integrity. And just as us being in Houston, not to go too far, without them having to do this, they send us 2 huge truckloads of hygiene kits. As soon as Hurricane Harvey hit, they were started packing those things. They've helped in Mexico. All over the world, they're doing these amazing things where they're truly giving back, which is that list. This is the last part, is the caring. So not only do our oils work, and we've got a proven track record of success business-wise, but we're actually doing things around the world to help improve our global community. We're giving people an honest way of making a living. And so I love that. So these are, just few of the reasons why it would make sense to partner with doTERRA. So that was the decision number 2. All right, so then you're going to explain to them how super easy it is to do the business. It's 3 steps. You basically use the oils, you share with others, and then you teach them, right? You just do that over and over again. You use your products, product of the product, you share with people, and then you teach them how to use the oils and share the product. And so we've got these guides to help us. And so the whole goal of this is for them to understand that there is a process of duplication, and they don't have to reinvent the wheel. The purpose of the system is lather, rinse, repeat, lather, rinse, repeat. This is something that anybody can do. And so the goal is for them to have that light bulb go off in their head and say, wow, that sounds really easy. I can use oils and share with my friends, and then have them share with their friends, and then teach other people how to do that. So you want them to see themselves living this lifestyle and doing what you're doing. Okay, so now we're going to go into the compensation plan. Like I said, the main goal of this for me is to let them see, look, These are the different potential paths that you can take. Where do you see yourself? Do you want to, maybe have a little bit of supplemental income? Do you want to get your products paid for, or do you want to replace your income? And so I encourage you for you, because you are doing the business, to understand exactly how this works, but you do not need to explain it in detail to your potential builder. I'm going to show you something that would be helpful for you to share. So doTERRA.com, Empowered Success, go to the build guide. And down here, this is a really great 5-minute video, the simplified compensation plan. This is a fantastic video for you to watch and for you to share with your prospects. Do not send them this in-depth compensation video. This is outdated. It's from 2013. I have a compensation video that's an in-depth that I've created. I will let you, I'll show you where that is so you can go to my YouTube and watch that one. But this is a really good one. So as part of your homework is for you to watch this compensation plan. This build overview is also pretty good for you to watch. So those are 2 things that I would do. And then as far as the in-depth one, I do encourage you to, at some point, you don't have to do it this week, but at some point, go and learn all of the different intricacies of the compensation plan. So this is on my YouTube channel, Mayra Powers. There's a business section, and it's the doTERRA compensation plan. I did this about a year ago. So it incorporates all of the changes that were made last year to the compensation plan, including the empowerment bonus. All right, so back to this. So that's the compensation plan. So what are the takeaways from this slide? The main takeaways from this slide, the first thing is there's different ranks, and each rank has a different compensation associated with it, and these are averages, okay? So the day one that you become a silver, in order for you to make that compensation, there's 4 different income streams: purple, blue, green, orange. Fast Start Purple, blue Power of 3, green Unilevel, and orange leadership bonus. So unless you have your Power of 3 bonus all set up with your 1,500, you're not going to be making 2,000 day one when you're a silver. Does that make sense? So I want to make sure that everyone's expectations are clear. Now, you can make a lot more than that and be a silver, or you can make less than that, right? So someone could be a diamond making a lot more than that, or a brand new baby diamond, right? Most of the income for a diamond comes from which of these segments? You can tell me. This is important. I want this to be recorded and to stay in your mind. This is the most important thing from this slide. Where does most of the income for diamond, blue diamond, and presidential diamond, where does it come from? Who's paying attention? Who's going to tell me?
Unilevel.
Absolutely. Unilevel is where it's at, okay? So what does unilevel mean? Unilevel means that your people, that's 65% that they're still buying. But here's the important thing. That doesn't just happen automatically. Remember that last week we talked about you could enroll someone with a natural solutions kit, $550, and they may never open it unless you follow up with them, right? So super important when you enroll someone, scheduling that wellness consultation that we're going to talk about next week is key. For them, once you get them, those first 2 weeks are so important. Once you get them going, once you've helped them figure out their daily protocol, this is easy, right? But it's important for you to get them there. The other part that's important is these leadership links. And so this is why I'm asking you to go back and at some point watch that in-depth compensation video that I made, because I know people who it took them 8,000 people on their team to make diamond, okay? I made diamond with 600 people on my team. So make the best use out of your time and truly understand how the compensation plan works and how you're going to organize your people, how you're going to structure them so that you can maximize the value of your work. And so I'm not going to go into depth here. It's not really part of this training, but if you want us to do like a bonus class at the end of our 8 classes where I go in depth on placements, I can do that for you. Just let me know and we can do that. The very simple guide for placements is this. Always structure for Premier, okay? Premier means 5,000 total in volume with 2 legs of minimum 2,000, okay? What that means is 2 people under you that you 100% fully trust, that either they're your real builders or they're your placeholders, okay? Placeholders just means that they're willing to, if they're not going to do the business, at some point for you to come in and say, hey mom, hey sister, hey buddy, I found someone who's ready to do this business. I need you to transfer out and let me transfer them in there. Thank you so much for letting me have you as a placeholder, and here are some free oils or whatever it is you want to give them. Does that make sense? So always structure with that in mind, because that's going to help you. That's going to help set you up for gold, and it's going to help set you up for blue diamond. So these to me are the most important parts of this slide. Nicole, is there anything that you want to add on this slide?
I just want to reinforce the unilevel, because that really is where the money is. And I think for me, at the beginning, I got so obsessed with rank and the recognition of each rank that I would build for the moment instead of for the long term, and I would make decisions, especially in placements, for that month versus what would be best long term. And so keep that in mind as you're placing these people. These are people, and this is a long term thing. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint. And so look at that long term instead of that instant gratification, because it can really come back and burn you in the butt. So that 8,000 that she talked about to get to diamond, that was me.
I wasn't going to call you out.
You weren't going to call me out. No, but I'm not a placement guru. I'm not a business, like a strategic.
And you didn't enter into this doing the business.
I didn't.
That was not your plan.
And so, but Mayra was very efficient and knew exactly where to place people. So please go to her for placement advice. I think there's enough people that want that placement thing bonus. So I think we should definitely do that, Mayra. But yeah, just unilevel is where it's at. And just, if you do excellent customer service, you follow up, the money does come. If you're consistent, the money does come. So that's all.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay. So the only other thing that I wanted to mention on this slide is we are playing chess. We're not playing checkers. And so make sure when you're sharing with people, some people see this and they just start seeing the dollar signs. And so it's not a get rich quick scheme. This is real work. And so make sure that when you're sharing this, that you let them know you're not just going to enroll some builders and you're going to sit back and you don't have to do anything. Like, it actually takes, it's a real job. It's real work. And this income potential is there, but you need to be engaged, and you need to, let's put it this way. It is a pipeline, but you need to maintain your pipeline. If you don't maintain your pipeline, there can be leaks. Does that kind of make sense? So that's the last thing that I wanted to say about that. The only other thing, as much as possible, just super quick, in case people do have like a placement decision they need to make this week before we have this class, I encourage you to put on your first level always your either real builders or your placeholders, so people that are really capable and committed and all in, okay? Second level, sharers. Third level, users or consumers, okay? So that would be the way that I would do it. And the other thing, I know that there's been some confusion, so I want to make sure that you understand this part. So let's say for someone to be a gold, even though it says they need to have 3 different premieres, and I'm telling you this so that you don't, some of the mistakes that I've seen or some of the fear that I've seen happen in people is like, oh, I don't have my real builders yet, and so until I find my 3 real people, I can't get going. I need to wait until my real builders show up because I don't want to make a placement mistake. So just to ease your concerns, these 3 people, they don't need to be directly under you. Even though here it looks like they're directly under you, they don't have to. So for example, let's say this person is the gold. She has 3 people under her. Maybe this person on the far left is her direct person, then that's one of her premieres. But maybe she has this other person who's her mom, who isn't really doing the business. But then this person down here, she's got her enrollment, and that person's a premier. That could be her qualifier. So for someone to be this gold's qualifying premier, they just need to be somewhere under here, and they need to have their enrollment. Does that make sense? So your qualifying legs don't necessarily have to be directly under you. They can show up later and be further down. Okay, so I just want to make sure that so don't feel like you have to have a perfect structure. All right, cool. All right, so moving on. This is, for me, actually my favorite thing from this presentation, from this build guide. Decision number 3, Choose how big you want to play. So now they've told you, okay, I'm in. I want to do doTERRA. Well, to what extent do you want to do doTERRA? And so we need to help them tell us or figure out what is it that they're trying to do. Do they want to earn more money? Do they want to work smarter? Do they want to do something that they're passionate about and they love? And so here's where you ask them, what do you want, right? Are you trying to save money for retirement? Do you want financial freedom? Do you want the ability to contribute to a charitable organization? Do you want more time freedom? Do you not want to be stuck driving in traffic, in Houston traffic every single day, right? Do you want to be able to, like, I don't remember the last time I drove in Houston traffic, right? It's wonderful. Do you want to be able to, for example, I love taking new classes. Do you want to be able to go meet new people? Do you want to take self-improvement workshops and at the same time be growing your business? Do you want to travel, right? Do you want to do acts of service? Do you want to spend more time with your family? So giving them a chance to check off, these are all of the things that matter to me, because when it gets hard, and it will get hard, I promise you, we all have, it's ebbs and flows. When they have those hard times, you're going to be able to take them back to this and remind them, this is your why. This is why you're doing it, and this is why it's going to be worth it to you, right? So this has to come from them. And then based on that, you want to be able to set realistic expectations. So if someone tells you, I want to be a diamond in a year, I want to be making $16,000 a year, but I only have 5 hours a week to invest in this, guess what? That's not going to work. And so you want them to themselves figure out, okay, this is what my goal, this is what I want to make, or this is the rank I want to hit, or these are the number of people I want on my team, whatever it is that they want to do, the number of people I want to impact, and this is the amount of time that I have. And you want to align their expectations so that they're happy, because you don't want 6 months down the road for them to be like, but you told me that I'd be gold by now. Well, if they're only working 4 hours a week, guess what? Unless they already have some huge following because they were a blogger, or they were, some leader in their community, or had already basically done the work, there are people that can hit Blue Diamond in a year. And most of those people have already created that trust. They already have a group of people. They've already planted those seeds in a previous career, right? But unless that's the case, to get to diamond quickly, absolutely, you can do it in a year, but you're going to have to put in the time, right? So whatever you invest in time, that's what's going to come out. So eventually you can get there. It's all about you deciding how much time do you want to put into this. And so you help them figure out, well, if you want to be able to pay for your products, what does that mean? That doesn't just mean that you're working 3 to 5 hours a week. That means you're actually personally enrolling a few people a month, right? Just saying you're doing the business where the pipes come back in. They need to be actually presenting, enrolling, and supporting to be able to have the income level of between $300 and $700 a month. If they want to supplement their income, then that 10 to 15 hours, they need to be enrolling at least one builder a month. You don't get to diamond by yourself. If you do get to diamond by yourself, you come crashing down a month or two later, because this is really a team. Like, you have to build a team of people that are working together to get those goals. And so we do need to be inviting people to do the business, and you need to enroll at least 4 customers. That you can do that easily if you're dedicating 10 to 15 hours a week to this. And then if you truly want to replace your income, well, then that's a full-time job. That's a 40-hour-a-week job. You need to be enrolling at least a couple of builders a month and around 8 customers, and then you can expect these timelines to work for you. All right, so once we've done all that, this is decision number 4, because this is where we take them from talking to doing. So now you're sold, you want to do this. Decision number 4 is, okay, let's get started. What do we do next? And so this is what I'm saying, that this is where you can tell if they are really committed. If they're committed, they're going to, if they're committed, they're going to get enrolled. They're going to get their kit. They're going to do their wellness consultation and right away start using the oils in their daily life. They're going to be willing to host a class, right? Share with others, fill out that names list, right? That names list that's on your build guide, and get the share guide. I want to make a little side note here. There are different people. Like I said, some people have limiting beliefs on income. Maybe they've never made $10,000 a month. Maybe they never see themselves making $10,000 a month. If you tell someone who's never earned $10,000 a month, you're going to be earning $10,000 a month in a year, that might sound like you're lying to them, That might sound unbelievable, right? And so for those people, you may want to start with the share guide, right? The share guide only shows part of the build guide. It only shows the Power of 3 bonus going up to 250. It only shows, oh, you can make $100 by selling a natural solutions kit. It only shows just a very simple way that they can start making a couple of $100 a month. So depending on who you're talking to, this might feel more comfortable for them. I hope that makes sense. All right, and then the last thing, your third, and this is actually your homework, right? Your homework is doing these 3 steps. Figure out what your goal is, right? When do you want to hit elite by? Elite means 3,000 in volume. Do you want to do that in a month? Do you want to do that in 60 days or 90 days? And once you figure that out, schedule a launch guide overview with your upline. So have a call, have a sit down, and figure out with your upline, what are you going to do? How can they support you to help you meet your goal? The last thing I wanted to share with you, because not everyone is, on my team, we're crossline here. You are not alone. So if for some reason you have an upline that's super busy or working on other things, or for whatever reason they're not able to support you right now, we're so lucky. We didn't used to have this. We have a hotline, just like you have your customer service line for oil questions that I encourage you to send and direct your customers to. This is for you. If you have a question that you're just like, oh, I've asked so many questions of my upline and I really want to know this right now and I can't get a hold of her, or I don't feel comfortable asking her, or whatever, we have a business advancement team. This is the phone number. That's the email address. They're available for you. Once you hit the rank of silver, and this is hopefully a very big incentive for you to hit the rank of silver, you get your very own account manager. And so you have someone that you can call direct line and you're like, help me, I made this mistake. What can I do? How can I resolve this? And so
account managers are life. Oh my gosh.
That was my absolute favorite thing of getting
a silver for an account manager.
I think it was Nicole's favorite thing of me hitting silver. When I hit silver, I stopped calling her and I started calling my account manager. So I want to encourage you to hit silver so you can get your own account manager. The other super cool thing that happens, just to give you here some incentives, you get to be a part of, there's different private Facebook groups. So there's a silver and above Facebook group. There's a gold and above Facebook group. My second favorite thing of hitting rank is when I got into the diamond and above Facebook group. So that's where all of this great, right, Nicole? All of this great masterminding and team collaboration happens. It's really awesome. So Nicole, I don't know if you want to share something while I pull up the doTERRA recognition. Some of us are driven by recognition.
What do you want me to share about?
I don't know. Talk about, what did I miss? What did I not say that you feel is super important about the build guide, or the just building in general?
Building in general, if you will never grow your business if you don't share the opportunity. And that was something for me that I had some severe blocks on because I wasn't doing the business. I was just teaching people. And it took me a long time to embrace that I was and say the words, I'm doing this as a business. And so I had to get over that hump of being open to sharing it as a business. And of course, at the beginning, it's kind of, at least for me, it was hard to share the business opportunity because I wasn't making a lot of money yet in my mind, because I'm listening to all these diamonds and above making 10,000, 20,000, 100,000 a month. And I was making maybe $200 or $300. Well, making $200 or $300 to somebody else could be the difference of, that could be a bill or two. And so don't discount what you're making. Even if it's $100 a month. Seriously, when I got my first $21 check from doTERRA because I sold a family physician kit, I've never been more happy to have $21 in my life because it felt like, oh my gosh, this is real. And so even if you don't have the testimony of the business yet because you're still newer, lean on ours. Say, hey, my upline is a diamond and this is the average income of a diamond. Or, my goal is to be getting $500 a month within the next 2 months. That's going to blow most people's socks away that you can make $500 a month with a home business. They really people just think it's total bogus. And so being able to just $500 a month is pretty big. So don't think, like Mayra said, don't say, hey, you're going to make $10,000 or $100,000 a month. Like most people are going to be like, you're full of BS. Because that, like, yes, we know that that is realistic, but most people are not there on the belief level. They think your oils are crazy. And so ease people in, let's say, hey, let's get your oils paid for. Let's get you your first $20 check. So that's, meet people where they're at and ease them in. It's a process, just as getting people to use oils is a process. So just be patient with it. It does happen. It will grow as long as you keep going. You ready, Mayra?
And the other side of that is, if there's someone who is making a significant income, let them know what it can be. Don't undersell it. Does that make sense? So otherwise it may not be interesting. If you're like, hey, you're going to make it $500 a month and they are earning $10,000 a month, they're going to be like,
whoop-de-doo.
Why would I want to leave my job for that? Right?
Yeah. So it is very important. Cause like Mayra came from a corporate job. And so, she would have laughed at $500 a month, but I honestly never really talked to her about the business until she went to it was some corporate event that Eric Larson was at, and they were opening Mexico. And so that was what really got her excited about it. Right. That's that. And your husband, the oil's working for him. And so, even if you're not super business savvy, like I totally was not, I still am not super business savvy.
Stop saying that.
Well, I'm more so, like, I'm way better than I used to be, but at the beginning it was a joke. But hey, I still did it. Like, I still made it to Diamond. I still have, a ton of people on my team, but mainly because I have amazing people on my team and I treat people kindly and I'm genuinely me. And so that trickles down and creates a team and a community that people want to be a part of. So.
And how strong is your belief, Nicole?
In what?
In the oils.
Oh, it's like, even though every time I use them, it still seems like a little miracle, I don't doubt that miracle is going to happen. And so I know that I can find an oil to help with anything. It might take some troubleshooting and some crazy, muscle testing that I do, but, there's an oil for you.
To me, that's really been, like, I know that we started this class or this conversation with that, and that's what I'm going to end it with. It is all about the belief. Like, I like to observe people, and having been to multiple conventions and multiple leadership retreats with all different levels of leaders, you come out with a new oil in Australia or in Japan, and every single diamond is going to be fighting themselves, figuring out a way, how am I going to get my hands on that oil, right? Because we're all truly crazy oil people. So
this is true.
Bro, you need to become oil lovers. The belief, I think, is where it starts with. The other thing I wanted to share, just because I had no idea, Nicole never told me this, so I'm telling you this now. She never said I would get little prizes. So all of a sudden I hit Diamond and I'm on this Diamond page and I've got my own account manager. And guess what? Besides getting a pin and a charm and all these things, you get really cool luggage and you get Christmas presents, and like we've gotten a bathrobe and all these really cool things. We got the anniversary blend. And so there's all these perks to being Diamond or silver and above even. So we get, when they're coming out with new products, they'll send it to you. And so you can try some of them out before they're released. And so it's really, really neat. Nicole, share what it feels like to walk as a Diamond. You just tell them what that's about.
So I suck at celebrating. Like, I'm just like, go, workaholic. And so when I finally, because I hit Diamond in October, and of course convention was in September. So I just missed hitting, celebrating. So it was almost a full year before I walked again. So it was 11 months. And, oh gosh, I'm going to get emotional about this. Don't make it big. You should still.
There she is, everyone. There's Nicole.
But it was the most amazing experience because you're walking down the aisle and everyone's shouting for you. And then as you go down the aisle and you see all these people that are on your team, that are not on your team, that you've connected with through this journey, and they're crying for you and they're hugging you and they're so happy for you. And it is the most amazing experience. And make sure you celebrate your successes in this. That's something that I have to be very intentional about because I don't naturally celebrate. And so when you enroll a ton of people or when you enroll one person, celebrate, do something like stand up and do a crazy dance or scream hallelujah, whatever that looks like. Celebrate, because if we don't celebrate when good stuff happens, guess what? We're telling the universe, it doesn't matter. These things don't matter to me. Like, so be grateful and celebrate, because it's so amazing and it's so humbling, because you're like, there's part of you like, yeah, I've made it, like I've arrived. But then you see all these people that you have touched because you said yes. That was more valuable to me than anything.
I love that, Nicole. I love that. And the other thing, and just when you were talking, it made me remember something that used to really bother me about working in corporate, and Heather's going to relate to this. A lot of the companies that I used to work at, they were, Fortune 500 companies, and people were so competitive that a lot of times if someone got a promotion, it was almost kept hush hush, like, don't let anyone find out that they got a promotion because other people are going to get envious or jealous or, and instead of celebrating each other's successes, you had to hide it and almost be embarrassed that you got a raise or you got a bonus, you got a promotion. And that's just wrong, right? And this is what I love about doTERRA, is that whether people are on your team or cross team, like you truly, when you go and you spend time and you meet these other people, everyone is so happy. Like, we're on a common mission. So it's not like you're competing against each other. It's like, wow, this happened for you. That is so great. I'm so happy for you. And people truly mean that and feel that. And that's one of my favorite things, is you get to grow together instead of putting other people down. It's when someone rises, we all rise. I just love that. So you get to feel good about it all around. Like, how sad that you can't celebrate that you had a success because other people would be envious of you, right? And how wonderful that here you can. So anyway, with that, our hour is up. Are there any questions before? Ooh, homework. Wait, let me give you the homework. Okay, so homework. I encourage you to watch that simplified compensation plan, that 5-minute compensation plan that's under the Empowered Success section. Also, you don't have to, but optional, go and watch the in-depth compensation plan at some point in the next week, right? Because I know that we have our next meeting on Thursday. So at some point in the next week, watch the in-depth compensation plan, the YouTube video that I shared with you. Definitely watch the Power of Residual Income video that David Ellis did, the one that I gave you that password for, and then complete the 3 steps in the build guide. So complete those 3 steps. I'm sure most of you have already at least started them. These 3 steps in the build guide. So that is your homework. And now, are there any questions that you would like for Nicole or me to answer? All right, so if there aren't any questions, have an awesome. Okay, Patsy, here we go.
Well, like I was saying, I'm a convert from Young Living and other essential oils companies, right? I want to know, and it was a curious question from my husband. It's like, okay, so Houston, the regional Dallas comes to Dallas. doTERRA comes to Dallas, doesn't come to Houston because there aren't that many people here, right? So Young Living's been around for a longer time. More people are probably using Young Living more. So I'm not seeing it as a barrier or competition, but if there are converts like me, that's a good thing, because people that are using essential oils and are attracted to them, that's an easy catch per se, right? So I would like to find out what the ratio is here, because I know Young Living is not here either. They don't come here to Houston. So
yeah,
I kind of want to know what that is.
So Patsy, there actually are a lot of doTERRA people here. Our problem with Houston is we are so freaking big, and everybody is kind of in their own little bubble. And so when we try to pull together, it's hard to almost get the word out. And so we've had regional events here, and we do We will have corporate events that come here, especially after convention. We'll have one for sure. Dallas is just easier because it's central for like Oklahoma, Arkansas, like it's for that whole region, not just Texas. So Young Living, like I'm sure they have a good presence here, but there's freaking 6 million people here. Like,
no, I'm just saying, I was curious because if you're going to have people that like oils, that's who do you think of besides the small people? That was just my question.
Yeah.
So, okay, ask the question again because it sounded, what is your question? Like, state your question again.
I'm curious to see how many users of essential oils are in Houston that are not using doTERRA. That would be if somebody's already attracted, somebody's already using them, it doesn't matter if it's Orocasia or something you buy at Whole Foods, because a lot of people just go to those places because they're right there. They're in front of your face. Walmart carries them too. I mean, I don't go to Walmart.
That's a really good question.
You know what I mean? So that to me it's interesting to hear. You know what I mean?
That's a really good question. And Nicole, do you remember at leadership they showed, I don't remember the exact stats right now, but I can go back because I'm sure we took a picture of how many people are already United States wide using essential oils, and then how many people said they would be interested in using them, but they're not using them. doTERRA's actually paid for these studies.
I think I only remember the last number, and I think it was like either 46 or 54%. The numbers are flipping in my mind. Are open to using essential oils and natural options, but haven't really tried it yet.
Yeah, because my husband, that's the practical question my husband asks, and he's all about generating great income outside of his income. So
there's a lot.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that are open that aren't yet using it. So yes, so we've got work to do.
So even if you take 40%, let's say the conservative side of 6 million are willing to try essential oils, that's a lot of flipping people.
Yeah.
So
let's get to work. All right. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
We'll see you on Thursday. Good night.
Good night.
Bye.